Hi there and welcome to Digesting Lent. This is the first in a new series, little video series, exploring various different themes of Lent and Easter through food. And what better place to start than good old pancakes. Pancakes in various forms have been eaten over thousands of years. In fact, when we go back in the records up to 5,000 years ago, in the Copper Age, there's evidence of people eating pancakes. Archaeologists have studied Otzi, the Iceman, the famous naturally preserved mummy, and they even found traces of his last meal in his stomach. And guess what he'd had? Pancakes. The Romans and the Greeks spoke of pancakes in their literature, and Shakespeare even mentioned them twice in his plays. There are various different types of pancakes, all sorts, ranging from the Oriental Mandarin pancakes, which you serve with duck, all the way through to the American breakfast pancakes, and they can often be served with bacon and maple syrup. What I'm going to be attempting to do today is something rather more simple. It's the basic crêpe, which originates, we think, from northern France in Brittany. So we all like to have our pancakes differently, I guess. Some of us, I like mine old school with the lemon and the sugar. Some of us, like Sam here behind the camera, he likes his with Nutella and whipped cream and bananas. I'd love to know how you like yours. Come and tell us in the comments below. There we go, 300 ml of that. Pancakes are traditionally made today on Shrove Tuesday, as it marks the beginning of Lent, when people historically fasted. And it was a great way of using up all their ingredients. So all the fats and the eggs and the things that they wouldn't need for the next period, they could get rid of on that particular day. Bit of pancake trivia while we're at it. Did you know that there is such a thing as pancake races, where people have to run along whilst tossing pancakes, and sometimes they do it in fancy dress? Another thing we discovered in doing the research for this is that there was a famous thing called the pancake grease. Okay, and this happened at Westminster Abbey. The idea is that you had a 5-meter high bar, and a large pancake would be thrown over this bar, and whoever grabbed the largest section of the pancake would win the competition. And the Dean of Westminster Abbey would give the schoolboy, usually who had grabbed that, a prize for doing so. I've got to admit, for me personally, just successfully making one pancake is kind of challenge enough. Shrove Tuesday marks the beginning of Lent. To shrive, I shrive, present tense, I shrove, past tense, refers to the practice of hearing the confession of sins. And Shrove Tuesday marks the beginning of a longer period of self-examination, a period of penitence, a time when we think about the ways that we may have fallen short of God's laws, and we seek forgiveness from Him. The Lenten tradition of giving things up is, in a sense, just a tiny leftover of that bigger picture. These days, people might give up food or activities as a spiritual discipline. I guess many people do so really as a way of forming healthier habits, or perhaps they take the money that they save from giving something up and donate it to charity. But what can Lent do for us today in the 21st century from a Christian perspective? Think of Jesus' time in the wilderness when he was tested. He was tempted, you remember, to turn stones to bread. And he responded in the following way. We'll think about this a little bit later on in Digesting Lent, but for now, remember what he said. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. So Jesus didn't just deprive himself. He replaced the food that he left behind with a reliance on God. It was a reliance that prepared him for his whole ministry, his miracles, his teaching, and ultimately his death and his resurrection. None of that would have been possible without the reliance on God that he fostered in the desert. So I've got a challenge for you this Lent. Why not use this period as a time not just to give something up, but in exchange to do so that you can spend time with God? When you're craving chocolate, why not spend some time in prayer with God? Perhaps you decide to do a social media fast. Well, can you replace the time that you regain by spending some time reading the scriptures in the evenings? Or, I don't know, there may be many other ways that you find time to really foster that reliance on God. Whatever it is, can you use this Lent to spend time doing that more? Perhaps there's even new ways that you can discover this Lent of spending time with the Lord. And while you're at it and thinking about it, why don't you help out one another? You could leave in the comments below what you find is the easiest way for you to really foster that kind of reliance on God. I'm sure others would love to know themselves. Well, thanks so much for joining us in this, the first of our video series on Digesting Lent. If you've enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to subscribe to our Emmanuel channel. We're going to be releasing one of these videos every week throughout Lent. And again, if you liked it, do like the video, share it with your friends. We want to see as many people come and join us on our journey of digesting Lent together. See you next week. That's not bad, actually. It's quite good. For a pancake that looks terrible, that's actually quite good. Sam, I've got to make one for you. I've got to make one for you. Right.